Hello everyone, welcome back to your channel The Guardian Channel. So we are here, we have completed in manual memory, right? Stage 2. So today we will be starting with our LangChain. Okay, so we will be starting with LangChain. So start. So in today before starting with LangChain, we will first understanding like what was the problem with manual memory? Why LangChain is needed? Kind of. So problem with stage 2 manual. So in the last day we had done this part, right? Like creating a history array and storing that history array the questions and the answers, right? Every prompt sending that history to the LLM and getting the response and then again updating the history, right? Manually you are maintaining it, right? Let's see what is the problem. The first problem is we are manually creating the history. Let me explain. You see, we had created a chat history list, right? Or array, whatever you say, right? To maintain the history of messages, right? So if you see, each time we were manually updating the history, right? Like once we sent the request to the LLM, the response used to come. Then if you would have seen, we had appended, right? Manually each time, right? Each time, like user was there, then the message, right? That message, right? Question, the question, and for the assistant, we used to do something like chat history dot append, right? You remember, right? For app format, sent the response dot content, right? If you remember, response dot content. So this is what we are doing, right? Manually each time we are doing, right? You see the code here on memory. So you see here every time we were manually appending, right? This part, user question, and this one, right? Response dot content, right? Copy this. Next. So this part, right? We are manually doing this part, right? Response dot content and that dot append after, copy, right? So we were manually updating the history at the end, right? Once we get the response, we were again updating the history, storing the what question was asked and the what response we had got, right? Every time the query came, this was repeated, right? Now you would have thinking, no, we had written code only once. Yeah, you had written code only once in that function, but that function was called multiple times, right? So multiple times, this was kind of run or loaded, right? Getting what I mean to say. Now, second thing is what we were manually converting the history list to text, and this was to be done. Why? Because LLM required text or string as the prompt, right? If you remember, uh, we had done this, right? History text, we were doing created a string array slash and dot, right? Dot join, right? This chat history array, if you remember, right? This one. This is what we had done, right? So we were manually converting the history list into text. And why it needs to be converted to text? Because the LLM required text or string as the prompt, right? This part. Only. This one. This one. This one. Right. This one. Exactly this. Right. This is what we did it. Right. Third. This we manually needed to inject the history at each question with the prompt to send to the LLM. Like you asked, suppose you asked first question, what is LangChain? Right. So history array was created. So it was mentioned like something user asked what is LangChain. The assistant replied. Assistant replied that response also you stored like something like LangChain. The LangChain is a framework. That's framework and blah blah blah. Right. This is what it replied. Right. So this is what you stored and write. Okay. Another time when you ask another question. So another question came like to remember we had asked how it works internally, right? So every time, every time for sending a new question, we were injecting the history. You remember we were injecting the history with the current question, the question to send it to the LM. Remember we had created a chain dot invoke, right? And in the object we were writing history, right? In the history we were writing the history text, right? History text and the question. Please rewatch the video like or if you have not seen the video please come watching the video. Okay, question, right? So this part, from here I am talking about this part, right? For current query we are sending the question along with the history, right? For the current query. Okay. So, right. So this was the problem with it, right? Now the fourth part. See, there will be multiple projects, right? And you will be building multiple chatbots, right? Multiple chatbots. This is not the end. We'll make many other chatbots, right? So everywhere this thing will be there, right? Creating a history, right? Uh, Checking the tree with the current question, right? Then sending it to LLM, sending it to LLM, getting the response, and update the. So there must be a standard something, right? We can't just repeat this manual process every time. Getting another what issue is yes, manual memory is working properly. Definitely had seen the expected output. But the problem is what do you know, sir? We are maintaining the history like this. Where I had written like this. right? This like this user message, assistant message, then another user message, right? Another user message, blah blah blah, another assistant message, right? Blah blah blah, right? So that was working, but this LLM just considers or reads this as a text. It's not able to distinguish the message generated by human or the message generated by AI thing. So we are able to get the response, but internally the LLM is not able to understand the history part, whether in the history which part is for the human spoken and which part is for the assistant spoken. It is not able to internally feed getting. So these five are the problems. Okay, these five are the problems that I break down for you, right? These five are the problems. Okay? We will again go through this while learning. So the solution to the LangChain. Okay. So in LangChain, LangChain, what we do, rather than storing the messages as plain text, we store the messages as standard. Standard means used everywhere. Everywhere it can understand. I will tell you where everywhere. That also I will tell you. As standard message object. Like let me explain. So you had written this one, right? This is the human message, right? So this is the human message. So corresponding to this, we will create a message object like human message content equal to what is getting now corresponding to this AI message. Copy down. So corresponding to this, we will create a AI message content to LangChain the work. Now, what is the benefit of this? The benefit of this, the benefit of this is these are standard objects that each of the LangChain component. Now you would be thinking, what is this LangChain? And what is this I that I mentioned here, the jargon LangChain component? Uh, what is this LangChain? What are LangChain components? That you will get to see in the next video. So till here today we got to know like why LangChain. We just got a overview. Memory is one aspect. Okay, don't think that LangChain just as a memory. Okay? It's a big thing. So I am telling one of the problems that gets solved by LangChain. Getting one of the problems that gets solved by LangChain. So we got to see like what is the problem with memory. Yeah, it was working, but what we are manually creating the history each time for new questions. We are updating the history by ourselves, right? We need to convert that list into text because the LLM understands only text, right? Then each time new question comes, we are injecting that history into the prompt, right? Chain.invoke useful, right? Then there may be a multiple projects, right? And we need to repeat this, right? So there must be some standardization. And yeah, manual memory was working, but LLM was not able to distinguish between whether this message is a user message or AI message, right? So to solve this, LangChain came. The LangChain standardization happened. All the messages, rather than storing as plain text, we started storing as a message object. Right? These are the message objects, human message, AI message, and these objects are able to be understood. These objects are understood by all the LangChain components. So what is LangChain? What are the LangChain components? Till then, keep exploring, keep coding, keep learning, and please come with this answer. Okay, that's all for today. Hariyantra.